If she a baby mama,
Go ahead.
she gon' do that baby mama.
Work.
Alrighty, welcome back to Can I Talk for a Second, episode 3 with Mom and Dad. I'm obviously Mom, and
I'm Dad.
obviously. So if you're tuning in today, we just wanted to start this week's podcast off with a quick thank you. Because we've gotten a ton of really great feedback from our friends and family, and we truly do appreciate you guys taking this journey with us, however strange it may be. So you're tuning in for a really fun episode this week because what are we doing?
High school reunion. I guess this was high school memories and stuff
A
like
walk
that. Bringing
down.
it back.
We're bringing it back. So we are going to take a look at the Brooklyn Studio yearbook.
I never got a copy of one of those.
You didn't even come to the graduation, bro. So I'm not at all shocked. So we're going to take a look at that. And then the Small Humans got some questions for us, too. So we're going to go there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we got some stuff to dissect and talk about because who thought 20 some odd years ago, no, 19 years ago, that we'd be here.
No, honestly, it's like episode of like Stranger Things. It's like, what's stranger than your baby mom and baby dad, like being friends. And,
Yeah,
like,
and starting
collaborating
business together, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've also gotten a fair share of, and this is how I know some of you have not listened to episode 1, where we clearly said, no, we're not getting back together, and no, we're not sleeping together. So I'm going to reiterate it again. For those of you who didn't understand the first time. Just gonna make that clear, and I will refer to episode
She's like
1 and 3.
definitely like dying in one corner.
She is
like,
dying. She's gonna knock the cat food over. But I thought we'd start this episode off with something fun.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, something. So the child has my phone, but the child does not have this literary masterpiece from
Who is this by?
Mr. Aubrey Drake Graham. So I figured we'd do something fun because we're both single, and we both have exes that we feel a way about. So I figured we'd take some lines from this. I figured we'd read some of this book together.
Okay,
It'd be like story time. I didn't say which ex because we have obviously more than one.
Well, obviously, it's...
You got more than me.
Oh, yeah.
You got a few more.
Okay.
But there, it's a fair amount between us.
100%.
So I'll flip the book and then you tell me when to stop. And
See, this is the moment where like people are looking and like now they're like, is it me? Like I don't know. Now we gotta
Listen,
pick an interesting line.
no, we're not name
Yeah.
dropping because, like I said, there's a fair amount between us and we don't have that much time. We try and keep these under an hour, so
Yeah,
we
no,
definitely
of course.
don't have that much
Don't want
time.
to bore you guys.
No, well, it's not by
No.
no means is it boring.
No, of course not. But I'm just
By
saying.
no means is it boring. The stories are not boring. All right, so let's just
So-
dive in here.
So what, you want to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay,
and
go
then
first.
all right, so we'll pick 2, and which one would you rather send direct? So you tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Okay. All right, so this is option 1. Already got a career. I can't convince you that I love you for a living.
Good. That's a nice one.
Okay. That one, or you tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Your taste in men isn't exactly Michelin star.
I like that one.
Okay.
We're gonna go with that
We're
one.
gonna go with this one. That's
Only-
solid.
Yeah.
Solid. I like that one. Your taste in men isn't exactly Michelin star. All right, so it's your turn.
Ooh.
Are we actually sending these?
No, we're not, because again, then we would be name dropping. So
Well, we don't gotta tell, like those TikToks are just
no,
like,
because then somebody might go online and complain about being blasted on our live or the
Yeah,
podcast.
listen, we're not trying to like. Listen, we just started. We're not trying to get shut down.
We are 4 minutes and 3 seconds in. It's a Sunday night. It's the day of the Lord.
Listen, we're trying to keep it holy over here. This is why we
Well,
have a
maybe
new
not.
Bible. This is the new Bible.
That is I like that. That is the Bible.
Listen, guys, get yourself a copy.
And what's even richer about all of this is these are things that I typically would have sent him like 20 years ago.
Dude, I like honestly that Michelin one you probably would have sent.
100%. But it would have been like your taste in bitches is not exactly Michelin star. That would have been my
100%.
That would have been my go-to.
Oh my
I like
God.
that one. Yeah, 100%.
All right,
All right,
you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, hold on, wait, go.
Stop.
Okay, you ready for option 1?
I'm ready for option 1.
Dead serious. Option 2, till I die.
Dead serious till I die.
That's what you got.
I am though. I think you can attest to
That
that.
is for sure. That is for sure.
I don't
You
even
are
know we need a
good,
second one for that one.
Okay.
Not
Hold
with
on.
me anyway. But we could go ahead. We could just for shits and giggles.
Okay.
Stop.
Ooh.
Is it a multi-pager?
No. It's a two-liner with a blank
Ooh, okay.
blank one over here.
That means it's rich.
This is you ready?
I'm ready.
My helping hand getting numb and my visions going blurry from looking out for everyone.
Day says you're.
Day Day, what up?
Day Day was good.
What's up, Day Day? Day Day is tuning into our live from
Sheesh.
Florida. But I don't. Both of those are rich, but I think
It's
at
all
the-
no. It's all one thing. This ain't two.
But
This
no,
is-
the first one, Dead Serious Till I Die, or this one, I feel like at the core, Dead Serious Till I Die is me though.
Oh, yeah. I think
I think-
I honestly think this one is you too.
It-
My helping hand getting numb and my visions going blurry from looking out for everyone. I think that's
That
I
yes,
think
that
that's
yeah.
pretty interesting. Listen, Drake knows you.
Drake, listen, when we were at the concert and I was like, listen, I'm gonna buy this book, and Ava's like, why? And then Ava promptly, I'm walking like with the box of like the stuff they bought. And Ava's like,
I did.
Ava was like, Ava's like, I am the soundtrack for lives that go on without me.
Listen,
I was like, Ava, what lives go on without you?
100%. Like,
Not the Drake poem.
The Drake poems, the book of titles ruin everything.
listen, we
I feel like that's
we,
the title for your life, sir.
What? I'm sorry.
Titles ruin everything.
That is true. I feel like my life goes like really good. It's like everything's like fine. It's like do, and then as soon as it's like boom, title is like
Slap a label on that
starts
bitch.
like shambling down. Skies are falling.
Ruins.
Clouds are dropping out. It's just like, well, this was fun.
And like this was good. Like I appreciated this because this book.
Listen, we still gotta get some that you pick. Like I feel like this Drake energy is like pointing hard like to you right now. It's like
It is. I mean, and even Day Day mentioned it before. She's like, I'm gonna put my ratchet pants on because I'm going to Florida this week to visit my brother and Day Day.
listen. Places like that are dangerous. All right.
What are you implying, sir?
Intoxication happens. Bad decisions, choices.
Yeah, I was called an avid alcoholic or an avid consumer of alcoholic beverages this week, so I feel like that's.
Listen, I get one taste of alcohol, I drop out. And listen, I got hit by some waves this weekend, and I feel like
Listen.
I got jumped by starfish.
Listen, you sir cannot handle any alcohol. No substances are
Listen,
Getting them ready, dust them off.
Yeah.
Day Day's getting ready.
Oh,
Phil's like, no,
man.
Phil's at work right now, but Phil's probably like, I'm not ready.
No.
Like, keep your ass in New York. But that, yeah.
Listen, don't bring that ratchetness over here where I live. It's nice and
Feels
calm.
like this is a
over here.
quiet community.
It's like when you're walking, like like it's like one of those like, of course, hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about. Hopefully some of you guys watch anime, but it's like this like blue skies, everything's calm, and then you have like this aura of just chaos. Yeah, it's just like
Hardcore chaos. I'm here for it though.
like
a little bit of chaos is fun. A little bit of, and I feel like neither one of us are exempt from chaos because we pretty much just like ended high school strong with like popping out a kid. So chaos is kind of like our forte.
yeah. I feel like listen, if you can operate in chaos, once things are like quiet, you're like the master of life. You know what I mean? It's like.
I don't think I've experienced the quiet yet.
Not yet. No, I mean, listen,
Like-
mine's gotten like a little bit quieter, and then it's like, so for like a little bit, it was going like quiet, like still chaos, but like it was like leveled down just a little.
It was
bit.
like
brought
moderate
down.
chaos.
Yeah,
it was like PG chaos.
yeah, and then after so like
Filtered.
yeah, it was like then I felt like some the universe or whoever anybody believes in is just like, oh no. You can't have
Yeah,
none
you
of
can't
that. You
have
need
peace.
more.
No
You
peace.
need more.
Yeah, no peace
I
for you.
don't think Phil even knows the extent to what will happen when Sam comes LOL.
People are watching it like, what is Sam gonna do?
Oh, he does. He probably gonna sign up for duty. When it's coming out.
He's on duty right now.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you here? No, listen, I'll take another one.
another 24, please. I can't. But it's always a good time when we go down there, which is why also our stream will be Tuesday instead of Thursday this week because I will be in Miami.
Yes.
So that's
Yes. So listen, guys, I know the last few streams were a little rough. We ain't get no dubs. We
I'll
ain't
be
get
back
close
to
to
get
a
the
dub.
dubs.
So listen, Dad, Jerry, Scooby we gonna bring some dubs.
we got a new season, so we're gonna try.
Listen, we gotta try hard.
We
The
do.
people are missing these dubs.
Listen, we tried, but it was Sweat City. Like there was nothing we could do about it. So
Listen,
I don't.
alright.
We gave it our all,
Alright.
quite honestly. So
Oh yeah, he does have duty when she comes.
he does. At one point, he's like, just one night of fucking peace and quiet away from this wild.
Can you
woman.
imagine, like, out of 7 days,
He's
I
like,
only
Chief.
get one?
He's like, Chief, I'll take another one. And they're like, no, your sister's gonna. No, trust me, sir, it's fine. I want another duty, please, thank you.
Listen, I'm asking for it.
They're like, he's like, I want to serve my country and this air station. So
Listen.
sign me up.
Do you know how far Florida is from New York? All right, this is why I like it out here. I mean, now she's bringing New York to Florida, so
Yeah, she's
I need
bringing
another
it.
24.
I need another one, please. That's it's the end of summer. I feel like I'm entitled to that to that type of fun.
Listen,
But let's get into your questions, child.
You sold me 2, so I have 2. If I
All right,
can
so the
get
first
more.
ask the first one, and then we'll both answer it, and then
this
we'll
is like interesting because like she's a very well blended version of both of us. I mean, granted, she looks more like me,
she's
but
a copy and paste version of you, but inside her brain, I feel like is a little bit more me.
yeah, I feel like that.
Then
I'll ask the more in-depth one later. But we'll start with, do you think you got the most out of your high school experience?
I'll let you take that one first.
Oh man,
You were in high school first, technically, because you were a year older than me.
oh my gosh, I feel like for my version of high school, what I lived through, I did.
What you lived through, like we went to school in Guantanamo Bay.
Because when you watch the movies, you see the kids, they're all on campus somewhere. Like high school movies never turned out the way I thought high school was. Like I thought I was going to be driving a car. I thought I was going to be like doing some.
We were riding the fucking
tennis
B-82.
or so, yeah, like you know what I'm saying. Like so, for my version, I definitely think I did live what I think was very fun. But at the same time, I was running from FBI, CIA, like
George.
George was,
George was the director of the FBI.
Yeah, like you were like an FBI agent, and then George was like
director.
the director. She was
the chief of
yeah.
the bureau.
She was like, yo, listen, we got to find him by all means possible.
All means, she would just roll up in her green minivan. We'd be like at the park, and she'd just pull up along, and she just pressed because it had the electronic door, and she just pressed the door, and it would just open slowly, and she didn't even say nothing. She just.
And it's like.
And I'm like, no, and she's like, get in this minivan.
It's always interesting because when George pulls up, you feel like, especially with the town and country. Oh, let's not even.
Town and country, that was the war wagon.
Oh my
that
God,
was
like-
worse. Seeing that coming was worse than the paddy
Like,
wagon for truancy.
It's like one of those like movies like that's like slow motion music's like, and you just see it, like in your mind.
Smoke.
Yeah, like in your
Aliens.
mind is like just playing. It's like the door, even though it's moving slow, in your head it's moving slower. So
It's
it's
just-
Is FBI.
George
Yeah.
is FBI.
This
George
is-
very
yo.
much is, but
and you just feel like she has goons in the van
oh,
that are
what-
just gonna
what did I
like
say
jump
the other
out,
day?
grab you, and
George
like
had
kidnap
eyes
you.
before Life 3. George was the original. My mom was the original Life 360. She didn't need an app. She was the app.
No,
she had
100%.
people.
Listen, she might be in cahoots with Life 360.
She might have just started. She might have started the platform.
She might say, "Yo,
And
listen."
by the way, we did ask George and Michael about their experience parenting me through high school and dealing with Jerry. So we're gonna add that in there for you guys to see and enjoy because it's quite funny.
I'm gonna say I think it's kind of spicy on George's end. I think it's kind of spicy.
100%. My mom was like, Michael had no idea what was going on. We're like, so we'll put that in there for you guys to see.
100%.
But
What was your version like?
my version of
Yeah.
high school. And nobody believes me. So anybody that went to high school with us or that knew me a little bit before or my freshman year, because I met you at the end of freshman year.
Yeah.
So the beginning of my freshman year, which was your sophomore year, I didn't meet you till like the end, like the springtime of like the second semester of my freshman year. I met him. My first semester, I graduated 8th grade as an Arista Archon student. I was an honor roll student. I was going to the fucking moon. Okay, I was building rocket ships. I had a bright future.
The missile that shot you down.
Just so I had aspirations. Okay,
Okay.
so I thought that I was gonna. So I learned that somewhere, I don't remember where, that if you, as a senior, if you had taken all your credits and courses, you could have like a half day schedule, and that is what I aspired to do. Like to take all my regents, to take, because I did take regents the winter of my freshman year.
Okay.
So I remember doing that, and I was like, I'm gonna finish high school like early, and I had like all these like goals of like academically finishing everything sooner. And then I got there, and I was like, none of this is challenging. This is boring. I was like, this isn't this isn't like what I thought. The school was super small. There was less than 100 kids in our in
Yeah,
our
studio was
in
super
our in
small.
my graduating, well, our graduating class. But yeah, I don't think I lived up to the image I had when I started high school, like cuz I had like dreams. I do think that I like lived or marched to the beat of my own drum. Looking back, did I like do a lot of like wild and reckless things? Yeah, definitely. But I think those things gave me perspective.
Hence the snow prints in your backyard. Yeah.
That was really oversight on both of our parts. How fucking dumb were we?
Really?
So we used to skip school. Obviously, that's what I was alluding to. My sophomore year of high school, the beginning, we began like pretty solid. We weren't really skipping.
Yeah, no,
Second
yeah.
half of sophomore year, we were like two prisoners on the run. It was a bad time. So we used to skip school. But your mom at that point was still working like different shifts, and she'd be home certain days.
Yeah,
So
she
we
was
kind of
wild
like
with that.
between your mom and my mom, we figured out which days nobody would be in either house.
Yeah.
But what was dangerous for me is my grandma lived upstairs.
Oh
So,
yeah, she could always peek through the front.
yep, and see. So I had the bright idea. I was like, let's just scale a fence, which was totally logical at 17 or 16 years old. I think we were 16. Let's scale a fence and just climb in through the basement. Like it's not it like what could go wrong, right?
No, 100%.
It snowed. That's what went wrong. Neither one of us obviously are rocket scientists, and we left fucking footprints in the snow.
That was bad. That was bad.
Two sets of
Rookie
footprints.
mistake.
Yeah, very rookie mistake. That's the first time we ever
Listen,
did that.
we were like 15, 16.
Yeah,
Listen,
we had
you
not
know
yet
what's going on.
perfected the sneakery, but
Yeah.
in the middle of this adventure that we were on, Grandma came home because I'm gonna guess somebody in her Life 360 network told her that, like let her know. So she comes home, and I'm like, hide in the closet. Um, so, did you share that?
Share.
Yeah, share it. So Grandma comes home, and she immediately knows. And I should have known that she knew, but I really played stupid. And I was like, I didn't feel good. I came home. She's like, where is he? And I was like, who are you talking about? And she's like, where is he? She's like, I'm gonna call the police. And I was like, oh my god. Yeah. So she was dead serious. She would have done it.
Oh, yeah.
Like she would have 100% done it. But I think things like that prepared me for this one.
Oh yeah.
Because now, like the phrase "I was born at night, not last night" is like the banner of like how it's like you're not gonna fleece me, kid. I was like the queen of fleecing. You're not
No,
gonna do that shit
100%.
to me. I think me pushing the limits kind of also like we did it first.
And
Like
that's
we
what I
laid the
was gonna say.
blueprints.
Like usually sometimes you'll get like where one person is like pushing the limits, they're pushing the boundaries, and then let's say the other parent was that good, went to school all the time. So I think that's why sometimes like for her it's gonna be even harder because not only did you have one, but you had
You
two
had
parents
two delinquents
that were like, yeah, like
You were
we were
born
trying
to-
to change the game.
Yeah,
like,
we thought we had it all figured out. Obviously, we did not. But I think high school is not typical for me because I had like our friends were like going to class and doing whatever, and we were just kind of
Yeah.
like we were out here wilding out. We were like skip it. We'd go get our attendance taken. And then I'd text you and be like, we're out after second. And you'd be like, yeah, my mom's at work. She's doing a 12. And I'd be like, oh, perfect. And we'd
Yeah.
just like go. And if both of our parents were home or both of our moms were home, we would like go to the mall or wherever.
oh yeah, Cropsey Park.
Yeah, somewhere. So I don't think we had a typical high school experience. Like I look back and we looked through this together when Ava got her yearbook. So
Very
this is
small compared to
it. Well, yes, we like I said, we only had like 100 kids in our graduating class, but we looked
Yeah.
through this book, and as we're going through it, Ava goes, "Why aren't you in here?" And I was like, But I was skipping school that day.
She was in maybe 5 pictures.
I was like in next to like senior jersey day.
Oh,
We didn't
yeah.
go to that. Like we went to nothing.
There was
I don't think. We
like
didn't
a
even go to
lot of
prom.
things. Yeah, I think it was like. So I feel like we were there, but we weren't there because like in the book, it's like, oh, everybody who exists here in this time period is here, but we were just like, it was like ghosts.
Yeah, so she, she's like, she like flipped it like senior jersey day or like twin day or mismatch day, and we were just figments of the imagination.
Yeah.
And when it got to like stop it, the prom, yeah, that's you. The prom section, she's like, did you? I'm like, and I was like, no, we were busy making you that night. And she's like,
Oh my Lord, have mercy.
But that's, so
It's an interesting take.
yeah, it
on
was, I mean, and like, I looked through like these, like
Well, at least you actually have like a copy. It's
my mom made sure I got it.
Oh.
But I also, so you graduated in the middle of the year. You graduated
yeah,
in January. I finished in June. Okay, I'm going to say it again. Stop. You graduated in the,
That wasn't me.
yeah, I know it wasn't you. I'm gonna like, I wish I could figure out how to snooze it because it's making noise. But you graduated early and you never came back for anything. Like you didn't come back for any of these things. You didn't come back for like there was like.
I was already mad. Oh.
There goes Facebook.
That's how true it is. Okay.
That's the high school experience that we had.
That was the high school experience that we
good.
had. That was very much it. Very much. Yeah. See, there's my picture.
That? Oh wow, yeah, that was you.
That yeah, that's what my name is.
No, but I mean, like like as you grow and you see somebody take like
and there
different pictures.
There's you.
Oh, camera shy. Yeah.
No picture of you, but yeah, no, that was me. I had no eyebrows.
Hold on, who else was Willie in?
Willie graduated on time.
Did he? I thought he graduated at the same time as me
No.
because he cut.
Willie pulled it together and got out.
Oh man.
It was just us. Actually, I graduated on time too. My mom made sure I did that
Oh
shit.
yeah, she wasn't playing.
She was not playing, but no, that was me. That was me. My little nameplate
No, look
and
at you.
my little eyebrows, non-existent eyebrows.
I was gonna say I don't think you really had.
I did not. There was no eyebrows there.
back in the day.
Well, I have eyebrows now though. Thank God. But yeah, no, class of 2008. We were not like senior cut day. We were like every day was senior cut day for us.
Why did I need senior cut day when I had sophomore year?
I had a Tuesday.
Cut year,
like senior cut day. You mean a regular Tuesday for me and Jerry? And by no means am I glorifying it, but like it just let's just be real.
because we will be watching.
And like Life 360 would completely ruin that for you because it alerts me if you move more than 100 feet outside the school's premises.
That's nice.
Yeah. So.
But I don't aspire to be like.
Well, good. Don't because aspire to be. I didn't go to prom. It wasn't prom. I mean, it was prom night. I just didn't go to prom. It wasn't.
Disgusting.
Whatever. You wouldn't be here then.
Good.
I might be on the moon.
Good. Go to the moon.
I could be on the moon. Yeah. I don't regret anything that we did or I did.
No.
In high school, like from like sophomore year on, like obviously not. But I think a lot of the habits that you form later in life, you can like kind of trace back to like the habits that you started in high school, like even just like calling out of work, like the mentality of like I don't want to go to work today. Like reminds me if I'd wake up like in 11th grade and be like fuck school today.
No, yeah, but I definitely think I think those things help shape who we are today too. Like those habits and things that we did that number one we knew was like. Okay, this is obviously something that we know is bad.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
we 100% knew.
Granted,
Even then we knew.
Yeah, like granted, like you said, like with the calling out of work, like, oh, I don't want to go.
Or falling asleep at work.
Yeah, that happened to me before though. I was in the stock room.
Applebee's. Yeah.
Oh, Applebee's too?
Mm-hmm.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, that was.
I'm not gonna lie to you, that was like the worst job though. Like even having like other food experience, that was like the worst I think I've ever had.
That was. And I remember when we worked at the amusement park in high school, like in the
Oh
summertime.
my God.
That
That
was
was
also a free
wild.
for all. Like that, I just think about like the experiences that we had, and this is like the trip for like now that she's so the entire premise of this episode started because Ava starts high school in a little over a week. So we were like, wow.
Yeah.
And then my mom loves telling me, oh, Ava's about to be the age that you were when you met Jerry. And I'm like, cool beans. Thank you for reminding me of that. But I think like we've said before, things are different because the world is different, but
Yeah.
we're a different type of parent. We're just like winging it kind of, and our parents like planned for children. They like had a family.
Yeah.
We were just like, okay, we have this thing now. So like this potato belongs to us now, and we have to take care of the
Yeah.
potato. I
So-
think that changes a lot of how we parent her, and also how we view high school. Like, cause think about when our parents went to high school, like what that looked like, versus when we went to high school. Like there
Oh,
was,
yeah.
it was eons apart.
And that's what I say, like, like, it's crazy because, like, with Ava, it's like how we discussed before. It's like we didn't have a guide, nor did anybody else. Especially,
guide.
like I said, 19 years old. Hold on. Did you just blink at me? Hold on, wait.
Like, what's wrong with
Yeah.
you? Like, remember when she
Are you
she
telling
was
me
like
something?
yellow, and we were
Oh my
like,
God, the
and I was
jaundice
like,
thing,
yeah, we
yeah.
were like, we got to bring her back to the factory and ask for a reset, because what the fuck. That, and I remember like we took her to the appointment and I was bawling because I'm like, it's broken. Like I hatched a broken baby.
What?
So you had jaundice, you turned yellow.
Oh my
Just wait,
God.
why were you crying?
I
because
was
you
just-
thought I was
because-
broken? I was dying.
You weren't dying.
Wait,
They said
no.
the first thing the doctor said is it's not life threatening, and I was like, cool beans. But like they're like, we're gonna admit her, and I'm just like 19 years old. Like she's like a week old. Like I have no idea what's going on. Like
we didn't even know, like, the first, even like any kind of diseases, like when you were born, or like
Nothing.
illnesses, sicknesses. So
they
it's
were like, we're gonna give her this vaccine, and I was like, yeah, all right, whatever.
we
bro.
just know you were turning a different color. That's all we knew.
a color that did not
Eh,
reflect either color we were,
So
and
you-
we're like, something's wrong.
Are you okay?
We're like, you're not yellow, I'm not yellow.
No,
Problem.
yeah,
Problem.
definitely. So I definitely think, like, while we were growing up, she was growing up, and so like she's growing up with us.
Yep.
Where
She's seen us through all of that.
yeah, it's like very, like crazy. Like we always go back to stories when I was like, yo, like she was literally like playing Halo with us. Like we have you right in the middle.
Yep, I'd be sitting like with my legs. I'd sit crisscross applesauce, and I'd put you because she wasn't even like sitting up yet, and I just
No.
crisscross applesauce, and I'd like lay her on my legs, and she'd
Yeah.
sit on my lap while like I had the control, and she'd just be laying there like watching us play Halo, and then I think like I remember starting high school. I remember being like 14 because she's old on the year like I am. Because you're later, and you're an October baby. She's
Yeah.
a March baby, and I'm in May. So I was already 14 when I started high school. You turned 14 in high school. So I think about like when like when we had her. Granted, we were like done with high school, but I think about like thinking my mentality then. Like never did I even, because you think nothing bad's gonna happen to you, or like nothing scary is gonna happen to you, and then
Yeah.
it does, and I'm like, I think back to like that version of me, and I'm just like, well, thank God you're okay. Thank God you made it. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
no.
glad you're safe. But then I think about like just how like that teenage version of you, like that the piece of you that gets to make mistakes and fuck up, you can't do that anymore. Like that's gone
Well,
because
no, yeah.
all your fuck ups are now her fuck ups. So
100%.
she is now like my mom loves to point out, and she's like karma. Like whenever she does something that I'm not really thrilled with, and I'm just like, oh, this fucking child. Mom's like, ha ha, karma, and I'm like, if that's the worst of what she's gonna do, like I'll take it. That's fine. Like
And,
we'll handle it.
And one thing I always, like I say, now that I growing from being that 19-year-old person and then coming here and then looking at her now and she's 14, it's like understand that the things that we get upset about and the things that we get mad about, it's because we've been battered through life. Like, like
We've dealt with the fallout from
like,
those decisions.
yeah, like you going to college and also too having to do that while raising her, and then me having a job at Applebee's making
Falling asleep
trash,
in the stock room.
and then at some point saying, "Yo, listen, like I have to do something better," and then joining the military. So it's like you get put in these positions to make different choices where, like,
Or
you know,
choices
not
wouldn't have
saying that
normally
if,
made.
like, you know, but that we would have had more time to make where if she
yeah.
wasn't here, you know what I'm
We would
saying?
have, we
So
would have had more like room for error essentially.
right, and that's why we tell you the things that we tell you is like so you can enjoy those years, like you can enjoy those years without having to be like, all right, there is somebody else
I don't
that's
have time.
depending
Yeah,
on me,
I
and
don't
I
have
gotta
time
go.
for this.
Yeah,
Yep. And that's the thing. Like I think about like all the like while you were away, I was taking college classes, and when she had no school or the class was, at night. Sometimes she came with me. I had no choice, especially during tax season. My mom would be working. It's whatever. It's President's Day. Schools are closed. I still have to go to
yeah.
class. She's got to come sit with me.
Sit right here.
She'd sit there with her coloring book or
Yeah.
the iPad. And I remember when I was able to get her the first iPad, I was like, and like then I think about those like first because I dropped out of my first semester of John Jay
Mm-hmm.
because I was pregnant with her. And I think about like what I thought about when I was applying for college because when we applied for college and when I got accepted, I didn't know I was pregnant yet.
Mm-hmm.
So when I applied, I had like this goal. I wanted to be a police officer. I was going to go to the detective academy. I had all these like visions of what I wanted to do, and then everything changes. So it's like I think about what she wants to do. She got accepted into the special program,
Yeah.
and she got accepted into two of them. So so she got to pick which one she really wanted, and I'm like all of those things. I remember having that like same like hope and like those aspirations, and then I'm like not that I gave them up, but like they seemed less important when other things entered the picture.
Yeah, that's the one thing like I
Yeah,
would
yep.
you know, oh wow. Nice shout out from the corner.
Nice shout out from the producer over there,
Yeah, so
Parks Jr.
so no, that's the one thing like I do want her to understand is like, yeah, you can have your fun. Yeah, you can do your thing.
Absolutely have fun.
But just make your moral compass at least like I said, you're not always gonna do the right
No,
thing.
you're not
You're
always
never
gonna pick-
always gonna do the right thing.
Evidently not with your fucking $1,000 alarm clock in your hand right now.
But do most what you can do right because then you can make different choices than what we did.
Yeah, you have
You know,
more
like,
freedom.
Listen,
to do that.
you can enjoy yourself all the way to your 30 some and then say, okay, this is where I want to start a family. You know, and go from there.
Yeah, but you have the autonomy to do that. Like at least you'll be able to like college for us was not college. It was literally just it was like a piece of like the day like I was working 9 to 5 and then going to class at night. I didn't get to have like the regular like college experience of like hanging out with my friends. Like none of that. It was just a necessity, something that had to be accomplished.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. I mean, I had fun. I loved going to college. I loved finishing my degree. I met really great people, but the experience was just at the core different. I was looked at differently in the classroom. I wasn't a regular student. I was older when I went back. So, like, I think I did better as a student because I was older. I don't know. Is it still recording? Or, like, what's happening to it? Why is it mad? Okay. I was like, why is it making noise? I think I did better as a student when I was older. I also think it gave me a different mindset in the classroom where when I didn't know, school was like in session a month when I found out I was pregnant with her, but I had like a less like driven mentality of like, like I need to get this done. It was like, oh, this is good enough. Where like when someone's watching, you're like, this needs to be perfect. This needs to be done exactly right. So like that's why when we tell her high school is so much fun. High school is like the prequel or the prelude to college. College is those years are the best years of your life. When you 18 to 23, like that's the time to work like a shitty part-time job, have pocket money, and then just live your fucking life. Like have the experiences that you want to have. Go take trips with your friends. Go out, like go different places, do all those things because you did the right thing in high school. You were able to get a part-time job. You saved a little bit of money, and now, for your 21st birthday, we're gonna go on a bender with you. Well, maybe not Dad, because 2 beers and he's done.
Throw me in the Uber.
So just a side story.
Just throw me in the Uber.
Just a quick side story. And I don't know if you ever heard this. Like YouTube, please just let me keep my light on. Thank you, Jesus.
I don't think it's playing. That's why I think it's just like.
Is it paused? Is it playing?
No.
You're a really awful fucking assistant, bro.
Yeah,
Let it play. Now
is.
It's playing. Yeah. All right. Hit back to let it. Yeah. Okay. There we go. When you first came back to New York after being in Texas.
Oh, don't talk about that story.
That's a good story though.
That
So
is
you
a
had
good
just
one.
gotten the Passat. You had
Yeah.
just gotten it. And me, Liana, and Philip we were going to Salty Dog in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. And we were like,
Just to let y'all know, that Passat was a death trap. Like,
that Passat was,
driving it
that was
sober.
rickety as fuck. But it was your first, like, you bought it car. Like,
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, you had the...
Refer to episode 2 for that Passat story.
Yeah, the Passat is mentioned in there. Shout out to the Passat. But me,
Word.
Leon, and Philip, me and my siblings were going out to a bar in Bay Ridge, and I think Phil was like, see what Jerry's doing. Like, he just got back. Like, you know, like,
Yeah,
have him come
I
out.
remember
So we
that.
call him up, and we're like, hey, do you want to come to Salty Dog with us? And you were like, yeah, we'll come with you. And we're like, all right, cool. So he drives to Bay Ridge. We knew to take an Uber because it's Bay Ridge. He drives to Bay Ridge. We go to Salty Dog and we're like hanging out. It was a good vibe. You're having a couple beers. Phil's having a couple beers. And then we like look over and your dad looks unwell. And
Well, I blame Phil for that because he kept making me drink. All right,
and
listen.
yeah.
I ain't
Phil
gonna hold
just
you.
kept
I
handing
didn't,
you beers.
yeah, I
He
didn't.
was like, here you go.
I knew I messed up when I gave the bartender my card, and I was like,
When you
oh,
run a
open
tab, it is done. So
And-
I've had many a nights where the tab, and I forget the card at the bar entirely. But your dad keeps drinking the beers, right? So he comes back over with
I ain't
another
no
beer.
bitch.
Well, clearly there was an issue with the amount of beers you have. He comes back over with the beer, and he's like, hey. He's like, another one. And I looked at Phil, and I was like, take his keys. I was like, take his keys. And Phil's like, Jerry, man, you're not good to drive. And you're like, I'm fine to drive, bro. I'm driving the Passat. And we're like, you're not driving the fucking Passat home, bro. You will not drive the Passat home. We're like, you can't. We cannot, like, in good faith, let you drive this death trap. It's already a death trap. Meanwhile, never mind drunk. So Phil's like, all right, Sam, stop drinking. At that point, I was the only one that had their license, aside from
Yeah.
you. So Phil's like, stop drinking so that you can sober up to drive the Passat. So he keeps drinking. Phil pickpockets him to take his keys away. He gets the keys
Oh
away
yeah, at
from
that
him.
point I was numb. I ain't feeling
He didn't
nothing.
feel shit. He was in La La Land. So Phil pickpockets your dad and takes the keys away, puts them in my bag. So I was gonna drive the Passat. We were just gonna bring your dad back home and then just like leave him there. But we had to trick him. So when it was time to leave, your dad realizes he doesn't have his keys and he's like, "Where are my keys, bro? I don't have keys." And we're like, "Don't worry, we have them." So he wouldn't leave. He's like looking all over the keys. And I'm like, "We have the keys." So we're trying to get him to leave. Would not get in the car with us. Would not get.
I don't remember. Listen, I was gone. That's it. I was a different
I
person
think
at that
altogether
point.
he had like 6 beers. I've gone out and had 12 mixed drinks and been fine the next day. So I'm hoping that you inherit my ability to process alcohol and not your dad's.
Listen,
If
I don't
you
drink
get to-
all the time.
I don't
want me
drink
to-
all the time. I had to take a 9-month hiatus.
Well, yeah, but still, like, listen.
No, your dad filters alcohol like a really old Brita. It just doesn't. It
Doesn't
sits
do
there
well.
for a while. But we had to trick him to get in the Passat. Your uncle had to trick him into the car. Like we
Yeah.
baited him into the car, and then Anna and Uncle Phil had to sit on either side of him because he kept trying to get out of the fucking car. And I'm driving this rickety ass Passat on the Belt Parkway home, and I'm like,
I think at some point I fell asleep.
No, you did not. You were talking
I
shit
felt
the
like I
entire
fell asleep.
well because you were just babbling, talking mad shit the entire way home. And now me, Anna, and Uncle Phil are like, we need to get back home. We have to take the Passat with us because I'm not paying for an Uber from fucking Flatbush to Bensonhurst. Like, there's no way. So we're like,
I
we'll
do
just
remember
text
being-
him and tell him. So when he wakes up, he'll see that his car hasn't been stolen. We have it. I'll bring it back. Like I'll return
I
it.
do remember feeling like my car was going. I was like, yo, what the fuck my shit
And then we
at?
also text Martha, and we were like, "Hey, we have Jerry's car. We didn't want to let him drive home, but in order to get your dad into the house, he wanted the keys, and he kept trying to like go back outside. So Uncle Phil got him downstairs and like burritoed him in the bed, and like Uncle Phil was like pushed him down the stairs, like wrapped him in the blanket, like obstacle course type, wrapping him up in the blanket, and then we ran." Hoping that you would stay in the house. Evidently you did, so.
Honestly, I feel like I was asleep the whole time. That's how I felt.
So the next, we drive home, whatever, I parked the Passat in front of the house, and we don't tell Grandma anything. So Grandma wakes up and is like, "Is Jerry in my house?" And we're like, "No, why?" And they're like, "Well, Jerry's car is in front of the house." We're like, "Jerry's in Flatbush. The car is here, though." And we're like, we like accidentally gave him too much beer, so we had to like bring him home and leave him. So I brought the car back to your dad. He was supposed to work. He was dead. Like, I remember bringing the car back to you at AutoZone after your shift, and you were just done.
I was done, man.
And I was like, "Can you
Yeah.
bring me back home?" You're like, bro, I didn't want to drive home. I'm like, I need to get back to fucking Bensonhurst. You gotta drive me home, bro. But those are the types of adventures, and we were of legal drinking age at that point. But you could have those adventures with your friends and make those memories because we're giving you the ability to like have
All my
a
friends have,
normal.
like, August birthdays, December birthdays.
You're gonna have to wait until then to sell. But the good news is we can take you, and Rosalie is already in on this too. We're taking you out for your 21st birthday.
Oh, how fun! Have the
So-
whole family gang up on me.
And we're not gang up on you. We just kind of want to test out your tolerance. I just kind of want to see.
Your 21st was with your friends.
Well, none of your friends will be legal, so they can't get in the club. So I don't know how they can hate from outside of the club. They can't even get in.
Like, yo, listen, sorry. Yo,
You gotta sit
listen,
outside.
I'll be the driver that day.
If I say you could be the
I'll be the driver.
You gotta rent a Passat for that day, just for
to keep
old
it, like,
times' sake.
tradition.
Yeah, you gotta
like,
rent a fucking Passat for that.
I'll find somebody like, yo, do like a Craigslist ad. Do you have a Passat?
Yeah, with the roof.
I
falling
need your
off.
roof to be falling off. Your
And-
passenger door has to.
And
can't
there's
unlock
two
it.
settings for the car. It's hot or loud.
Oh
That's
my
it.
God.
There was no in between. It was you were gonna be hot or you weren't gonna be able to hear anything around you because the fucking thing was like a leaf blower, instead of a regular AC.
I'll never forget that. It was all that was like the car out of all cars that I've ever had. Even the Nissan, the Volkswagen, like the Passat had like the most character.
That was a
like,
character building car.
It was
that
like
that and my original Toyota Hoopty with the fucking roll up
oh my
windows and
God.
shit. Those
Dude,
were
those cars were like they made you
appreciate power steering, power windows.
like
All those
it
cars have
just
power steering.
it made you well no your power steering could go out. You could still
Then-
steer, but you're gonna have a
then
hell
you're
of a
gonna
time. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not.
You gotta
can't.
turn to Hercules like
Nah,
right as
fuck
it
all that
happens.
noise. Nope.
I'd never forget it because my mom made me drive her car that had no power steering, and I was like,
The Saturn.
one of them. I think her very first Saturn had no power steering. And I was
That's
like,
what she used to chase you around in.
yeah, and I'm like, how is this like?
That used to roll up alongside the Town and Country. Martha would roll up, and then sometimes she'd
how's
have
this
like
elf with like just wild handling, no power steering, like see her in the car.
no, and then she'd pop out with the crutch sometimes because she had.
Oh yeah, she had the surgery.
She
yeah.
beat you with the crutch because I think my mom caught you in the house again somewhere, and she called your
Yeah.
mom and was like, "If you don't get here, I'm sending him. Like I'm giving him to the police." So your mom rolls up in the Passat and just like was pissed. She had her foot bandaged up and she was like hobbling up the stairs. And she's just beating you with the crutch to get you.
Yo,
It's like
listen,
she's like, "Don't come back to these people's house."
yeah, no, she did say yes. My mom was mad. I don't know how she was. Mom's
was
like this,
winging it.
like 4'11" tall lady in this Saturn with a crutch.
And she had a pillow to sit on too.
And it was just yeah, she still has like a pillow
To
till
sit
this
on,
day.
yes, yep.
Oh my gosh.
That's.
I'm like she has like a back pillow and a pillow to pick her up. So I'm just like, is the lumbar support in the seat
it was
not
just,
enough?
I don't know. She just no,
I'm
it was not.
confused.
She needed that pillow, and then she would just hop out of the Saturn. Like if we were cutting school too, my mom would call her and be like, "Martha, they're in the park."
It's like she was like NYPD. Like well, your mom was like CIA, my mom was like NYPD, and she just like jump
like
out her
Vice,
car like,
yeah.
huh,
With
put
the
your
crutch.
hands up.
Yep.
And
And
it's
then
just
and then we'd break up, and we like wouldn't speak, and our parents would be like, "Oh, good."
It'd be like that was like their momentary
They're
peace.
like, "Great."
Shh.
They're like, "Good." And then I'd come, well, like they'd like catch on, and she'd be like, "Are you talking to Jerry again?" And I'm like, "No." And then anybody who knew me and your dad in high school, the security guard. It's funny because Mr. Smith and I forget the other.
He was the coolest one.
He
though.
was cool, but I forget the female security guard, what her name was. I don't remember her name.
Oh, me neither. But,
But
I
she
know who
was
you're
like,
talking about though.
she's like, before I even knew I was having you, like it was probably our junior year, or maybe the beginning of our senior year, and she's like, "You two are gonna be in each other's lives forever," and we were like,
Yeah, you don't like to listen to
we
me.
were like, I'm gonna go to college. He's gonna go to college, like whatever. And then it was like, surprise, small human. But that like those like memories or those like stories. I think there's so many like the footprints in the snow, like Cropsey Avenue. Then the truancy story, like
Oh
that.
my gosh.
We got picked up by truancy one time, and it was entirely your fault. And
How was it my
You will eat
fault?
blame for this forever because so we cut school before It was before 11 a.m. So if it was before 11 a.m., truancy was like, they would go hard. Like, they would roll up on you. We
yeah.
cut school, and instead of going to Burger King, because Burger King was hot at that time, like,
Yeah.
they knew, we went to McDonald's on, like, 20th Avenue.
Burger King
Yeah.
was like a popular.
Burger King was like a hangout spot. It
Burger
was like the
King was
hangout
like, yo,
spot
don't
because
hate
the
on
train
Burger
was
King,
there.
yo.
Not so much for the food because half the time we were broke. We weren't going there to eat. We were going
Yeah.
there. Somebody would have to buy
They
something
had
to get a table.
You know what it was? It was the big booth
Yes,
seats.
the
in the
gigantic
corners.
booths.
They
You
had,
could
like,
hang out there.
You got like 20 people in the booth.
Yeah, you could hang out, and they would like order close together, so you could just sit in like groups, and somebody would just order French fries, so we could sit there, and then that would be it. But we couldn't go to Burger King because the manager of Burger King would call. They'd narc you out. They'd rat on you that you were in there. McDonald's didn't give a shit. So we go to McDonald's and we go upstairs and we're hanging out in the McDonald's waiting for truancy to go away so we can get on the bus to go to your dad's house. It's like, I don't know, 10:45, and he's like, let's go to the bus now, bro. And I'm like, no, we have to wait. I'm like, we gotta just 15 more minutes in this place. And no, it's fine. Nobody's out there. And I'm like, no, we really got. I'm like, we're gonna get caught. And he's like, it's fine. I forgot that Grandma had booked a dentist appointment for me that day. I didn't remember. I didn't really give a shit either. So she was coming to the school to pick me up for this like 1:00 dentist appointment. So.
You had like my dentist appointments.
Oh well, she books it during school. Like, book it on fucking whatever. I don't book.
I've been picked up early from school before.
You have never been picked up early to go to the doctor. I intentionally make them on breaks and Saturdays.
All I'm saying is my dentist was fun, so I don't know why.
Well, I didn't anything Grandma booked for me. I didn't want any parts of it. So she I was like, the dentist? No, fuck all that. Fuck my health. So just to be difficult.
My teeth can fall out. I don't care.
Give a shit. So she, I think it might have been like my follow up for my orthodontia because I had my braces off, but I didn't remember that Grandma had booked that, and we had cut school. We leave McDonald's. We got like 8 feet outside the door, and the fucking paddy wagon rolls up. This asshole goes, run! And I'm like, I ain't gonna make it, bro.
Yeah.
And Naruto over here is like ready to go.
Say this though, Mother has never been able to run.
I don't run for shit. If I'm running, something serious is happening, and everybody should be running.
You should have ran with the paddy wagon.
They were gonna. That would have been embarrassing because they would have caught me. That would have been even worse. It would have made it worse. He's like ready to run.
Yeah,
And he's like
ready
ready to.
to
And
go.
he turns around and realizes I'm not running. And by the time he turned around to realize I had not begun running, they caught us and they put us in the paddy wagon and they're bringing us
Listen,
back to
I
school.
felt bad. The good side of me
Dad,
got to me.
you
The
should've
kind
ran.
side
Leave
got
her.
No.
It was like, damn. I could have sacrificed her. They would have got her, and I could have left.
He couldn't. No, he was. We were on
That
good
was
terms
too-
then, so he stayed. So now they bring us, but they had just back in the day, like even before we started cutting school, you used to go to a truancy center, and your parents would have to come and claim you. And there were like 4 in each borough, and then they stopped doing that. They just brought you back to the school. The school would write you up, and then you get like detention or something.
Yeah, actually, you might be right about you having something to do
Yes,
that day.
because
Because when we pulled up,
she was already there.
George was
so
there.
at that point, we're in the back of the truancy van, and my phone is going off. The psychic was going crazy. Rosalie was trying to reach me. Janet was trying to reach me because my mom was there, and they had called my name over the loudspeaker for me to come downstairs. And they're all texting, "Where's Sam? Where's Sam? Oh, she just dipped with Jerry. They went out the side door." Now they're trying to warn me that my mom
Yeah.
is there. I can't answer because we're sitting in the thing. We can't take our phones out. And the thing rolls back up in front of the studio. And we go inside, and Mr. Cuomo was there. And he's like, and he sees you, and then he sees me. He's like, I got a surprise for you. And I was like, surprise for me? And here comes George coming out the office, and she's like, take her downtown. And Mr. Cuomo was like, no, we don't. They just bring him. Take her to call her father. I'm not claiming her. And he's like, it's okay because you don't have to. They just bring them back to the school, and then they get a write up, and we like let you know. But you're already here, so here, like, she's like, I'm not taking her, and he's like, totally fine. We'll send her back to class. Don't worry. And she's like, call her father. And she calls my dad. Michael, it's our lucky day. The police just brought her back. And I could just imagine Grumpy's face, like, what?
The best
Like, what
part
are you
of that
calling me
whole
for?
story was being me and being escorted back to class.
Knowing I
And
was
then-
downstairs in hell.
And it's like the funniest part. The funniest part I'll always remember that story is hearing your grandmother as I'm walking down the hallway. Punish both of them to the fullest extent of the law. And I'm like, yo,
Like,
what
we
did
just
we
knocked
do?
off a bank. Like, we just came back. Like, we just held up a chase at fucking
Yeah.
gunpoint. Like, she was yelling like we just robbed like 3 banks and killed an old lady. She was yelling like we just committed like a capital crime. And she's like, dude, that's fine. I should take them downtown. And the AP's like, We don't do that. We'll call his mother. You're here. What do you want to do? I'm not taking her. And Anna and Uncle Phil are there. And at this point, they're young. Uncle Phil was still in elementary school, and Anna was in junior high. And they're both like, and they're like, let's go. And Uncle Phil's like, okay. He saw this cute little bowl haircut. I didn't go to the dentist that day. I was not able to go. I was unable to attend the appointment. However, Anna and Uncle Phil did. I don't think.
I think that'll be my best memory of George, though. It's like,
To the fullest
extent of the law, and I'm just like, yo, what did I do? Did I do something I don't remember? Like,
apparently, we committed like some type of federal crime because she was yelling like what? I was like, oh my god. So we both get sent back to class because Grandma didn't take me with her. They send us back up to our I think it was like 5th period class.
Yeah.
We're texting then like back in the psychic, and we're like, yo, row after this, and he's like. He's like,
what is wrong with you guys?
we didn't give a fuck about anything. So that's why when we tell you that we wrote the book, we wrote the book. There's
You just got.
Like-
Grandma was screaming at you.
at both of us.
it's mental illness. It's mental illness. So we're texting back and forth.
Again.
So I was because the entire point, if you had just fucking listened to me, we waited 15 minutes, we could have already been in Flatbush chilling. But no. We had to leave and get caught and go through this whole fucking. My mom just could have come up and had her day ruined and realized I was already gone, and that would have been that. I would have got yelled at when I got home. It would have been fine. No, we had to go outside.
You know what? Let me just say that was bad planning on your part too, because that is the only McDonald's that I've ever been to where you can go in one spot and go out the same door. At least they got McDonald's with like multiple doors.
Yeah, it was a McDonald's Express.
So it was
but the
so
other
bad.
ones, they'd rat you out if you went in there. That McDonald's was always busy. They never gave a shit.
Because that was, and we was upstairs, so
Yeah.
there was nothing we could do.
Yeah, I always had a book bag.
Oh yeah.
I always had one book bag, one notebook, and a pen. I didn't do any work. Oh,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the book bag was like for show. When I left the house, it had to look like I was going somewhere. So I text him, and we're on fucking AIM, and I'm like, oh, I flipped the psychic open. I'm like, we're out after this, and he's like, yeah. He's like, meet me like on staircase D, and we like go out the side door. And I'm like, at this point, it's noon, so they can't do anything to us. We walk to the fucking bus, and we get on, and I think Grandma came back for dismissal, assuming that I would have stayed in the building, and
At that point, I think she should have just took you to the dentist.
I think the dentist probably would have been better. I didn't go to the dentist. I didn't go to the rest of the day of school. I was in like 45 minutes of one period, and then we left again. And then that was that. And then she was like blowing up my phone because at that time you used to have like a regular phone, and then you had the sidekick with the prepaid card. So she didn't have the sidekick number. She only had her phone number, like that was on her plan. And I would just turn off the phone. And she knew exactly where I was. So she'd like roll up and she'd like press your mom and be like, where is my daughter? And your mom would be like, bitch, I just got home. How the fuck would I know where your daughter is? Like, shouldn't you know where your daughter is? And then my mom would be like, if she's in your house and you don't tell me, you're harboring a minor and I'm going to report you. And she's like, she's here willingly, bro. Like, what do you mean you're going to report me?
That was like, yo, like being in my house was like being like reaching, like, it's like you reach safety. Because my mom's like, yo, she just walked through the door. Like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
Like, I got no issue with her. She's chilling. He's chilling. Like, everybody's just chilling.
Like, everything is fine.
Yeah.
Everything is cool. And Grandma would be like, no. And then your mom would come home and we would hide in the basement because at that point your basement wasn't finished.
No, it wasn't finished.
It was not finished. That basement was a work in progress for like your entire life, basically.
Oh, yeah.
But we would hide down there because there was like construction stuff, and your dad would like put stuff down.
Yeah.
We would hide down there.
Actually, they still had that like big old elephant TV. Remember the
Yes,
ones with the big
back.
back?
Yep,
and
we'd hide, but
and
then
we would hide right behind the
and
TV.
your mom at that point had the surgery, and she couldn't go
Yeah.
down the stairs. So she would yell down there, like, if you're down there, I know you're down there, come out. And we would just be real fucking quiet. She'd come home for a lunch for like an hour, and we had to be dead silent for an hour. Because she would listen to see if we were down there.
Yeah. Like
So we knew that. She couldn't get down there. We'd just sneak into the basement, and we'd hang out down there.
you're literally talking about like we were so quiet you could hear like pin drops. Like it was just like
and I think about like the athleticism that took.
That's why
Because
I said
I have the hand-eye coordination of a fucking blind nun. So for me to be able to scale fences, to shimmy down windows, to fucking climb fences in Cropsey Park, like I now I'm like, what happened, bro? Because I can't even walk straight sometimes.
no, I'm just saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, so like that's why like we tell you it's like we're jack of all trades. We're not master of anything, but
Yeah, we didn't master anything, obviously, because we kept getting fucking caught. But
yeah, but we're the jack of all trades.
Yep. And then, like, there would be
Whatever
times
it
where...
took to extend us not getting in trouble for,
Yeah.
like, at least 15, 20 minutes, we were
Or even
able
an
to
hour.
kind of, like...
maneuver
All right,
it.
we maneuvered that, like, trouble for, like, an hour more, so you're kind of like, okay.
Because they would eventually...
now-
Grandma had to go back home because she had Aunt and Uncle Phil, so I knew she'd eventually give up and have to go tend to them.
Yeah.
Your mom was going back to work because at that point she was still working on her nursing,
Yeah.
whatever. So we knew eventually they'd give up and leave us alone. And then, remember we climbed the fucking cinder block wall in your backyard over
my
your shed
God.
into the people's yard behind?
Yes,
And we
that
ran
was-
that way. Like, when you watch an episode of Cops... And, like, you see the criminals that, like, run through, like, fields and bushes and shit. Like, that was us.
You guys should be in jail for trespassing.
Yeah.
We should have been in jail for a lot of things.
Listen, we're not disclosing anything here, okay?
We're not condoning it. We're just telling you that if you think you're going to do it and it's going to be new to
I
us,
don't
it's...
want to.
I'm just telling you, it won't be new to us because we'll probably have done it.
Yeah. So you could be like, oh, I'm at this one house. We leave it right now. Y'all think y'all running through the backyard? We pulling up on the next side.
We're like when you watch SVU with Grandma and they'd be like, you go into the front and I'll hold the back. And be like, I'll be walking into the front. Your dad will be in the backyard. Like, we knew it.
What's up? What's up?
Her friend's gonna be like, Ava, skip school, and she's gonna be like, please listen to this episode of this podcast. I'm not doing that.
We're not doing this, okay?
We're not
Listen.
doing that. So the next time your friends are like, just your mom won't know. I want you to. I'll clip a piece of this for you, and you can. It could be like a 20-second clip, and just be like, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, okay, never mind.
So now you sent us down a rabbit hole, and then you said you had another question that was
Oh
even
yes,
more in
yeah,
depth.
this is true because we've got a lot of
Well,
memories.
screw me and my question.
No.
No,
yeah, we
we
wanna
want-
hear
we
it.
wanna
Yeah,
hear
yeah.
the second
One
one.
question. One of my questions was,
Did you get the high school experience? We just ran down most of our high school experience for
so
you.
what is one thing you regret, or what is one thing you regret, or if you could go back and change one thing, what would it be? You basically already said you wouldn't. So.
Yeah, I mean, I regret for me is a strong word because like I said, a lot of the things that we did or that I did, like, and it's years later, it's like 20 years later, and I look
Yeah.
back at them now, but it helps, like, I think about my friends who didn't have any of, and not by any means that they were great experiences, like, I can't put them on a resume,
No, of
but I
course.
think about those experiences, and I think about now, and, like, all the things that we did, I'm like, I laugh at it now, but it wasn't laughable then, but it taught you something. So, and ultimately the decisions that we made and like how fiercely we fought to, like, still, even though our parents fought like crazy to keep us apart, we pushed so hard to stay together, ultimately leading up to having you propelled the rest of, like, everything that we did forward.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I would be as successful as I am today if I didn't have you. Like, I feel like I would have settled for not that I wouldn't have a career or a job, but I don't think I would have pushed as hard to, like, graduate with
Would've
honors
made it
and do those
easier,
things. I think I would have just been, like, okay with the status quo because I wouldn't have had anybody watching me. So I don't think any of the things that we did I could say I regret, because any one thing not doing it could have led to something changing where she wouldn't be here.
Right, and I think that we actually had this discussion, which is actually pretty funny that she asked this question. Was like, I do agree with your mom. Regret is a very strong word. Like, regret means, like, you're literally miserable. To me, it means you're miserable.
Yep.
That whatever decision you made, you literally feel like
It
if
ruined
you
your
didn't
life.
make it,
Your life would be better.
yeah. And I think, honestly speaking, for whatever the paths that we went down, we are. I mean, we've done really. I mean, pretty good. We're
I think we, in almost every regard, really, we beat the statistics. So when I graduated with my first degree, I was 25. The statistic is most teen mothers will not have any higher education degree before she turns 30. I have two.
no, yeah.
Before I turned 30, I had two. And I think a lot of those, like, I wouldn't have had 2 degrees if I didn't have her. A lot of that motivation came from the fact that, like, now you look back and you're like, everything I do is going to affect her. So it can go one of two ways. I can either push and be really successful and still achieve goals and show her that, you can do anything you put your mind to. Or
Yeah.
I could just fucking take the easy route out, get a dead-end part-time job or minimum wage job, and then collect, whatever
100%.
government benefits the rest of my life.
So that's and that's why I said, just going back to your question, is like, I don't regret anything that's ever happened. Listen, even in the end, you're growing up to be a beautiful person and flourish on your own, even though you do make your mistakes. But everybody's granted that. But I I do agree with your mom. I think with you being born and us being at such a young age, it did kind of muscle us into a
It
corner and
propels
it's
us,
like
yep.
now what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What
Now,
how
now
are you
you
gonna
have no more options.
yeah.
Like, there's no more chips left. You need to make a decision, and we did. And me and your dad spent. You left when she was 18 months old, so
Yeah.
that was 2010 that you left. You didn't return back to New York until 2015
Yeah.
because she was 6. So we spent a considerable amount of time apart, and we both in that period of time became different people. And I think that's one of the reasons when you came back that it was harder for us to get along because I didn't know you anymore and you didn't know me.
Right.
Like we
It's
only
tough. I mean, even though
remembered.
the little trips in between, but
Yeah, it was like
even
once a
those were
year.
like yeah. So
But some of those were really strained too. Like some of those trips down there, some of them were like rough because I didn't want to go. I didn't want to
Yeah.
be there. I didn't want to see or interact with you. But I went because I wanted her to be able to say I got to see my dad.
no,
But
100%.
as people, we didn't know each other anymore. We only knew the versions of us that existed before you left for the army, before I went back to college, like the wild, like questionable decision making, like
Yeah.
version of ourselves, and like it's like you're a new person and I'm a new person, and it was like I don't know this version of you. And then of course there's like a whole bunch of other factors at play, and there's all like a I don't want to say resentment, but like you got to go live your life down there while
Oh, yeah.
I was here working full time, going to school, making
Taking care of her
like
and
leaning
stuff
on my
like that,
parents
yeah.
heavy to make sure I could finish school, and then you were just out here fucking dicking around in Texas, and I'm like,
Isn't
wow,
it
must be fucking nice.
protecting everybody's freedoms.
Yeah, okay. Until you weren't, and then I'm like, until the child support office was like, he's actually making tacos, and I was like, fucking perfect.
And
Great.
that's what I'm saying. It's like almost life changing. Like like
Yeah, your whole life changes.
you
Everything.
you get to a point where it's like too like also you learn to love somebody more than
You love
you love
yourself.
yourself.
But it also teaches you. I don't want to say detachment, but it also teaches you how. And this was something that we up until like 2 years ago we both sucked at. How to have love for somebody and care about them as a person, but separate of any like attachment to that
Yeah.
person. So it's like like even back like when you first started dating again, and like I had to like mentally remind myself that we're older now. It's not the same Jerry that's 19 and,
Yeah.
and meeting girls every other weekend. And, like I was like venomously against them seeing her, like to learn that side and be like, okay, we're adults now. We have an adult brain and we can make adult decisions. I'm gonna trust your judgment until I can't.
Right.
And like from that decision, you're like, okay, like nothing fell apart. Like nothing. She came back with all her limbs, perfect. Like all her, she was showered and she has all her hair, great. Like all of those things, and then you start to like from those like little things of like me just dropping her off for the weekend and biting my tongue, unless she came back and was like Dad beat me with a shoe, like that,
Yeah.
Then I'd be like, what the fuck? But like her going and then coming back and being like, yeah, it was fun. We did this, and then from there you're like, okay, you trust this person's judgment, and then like you have a conversation, you chit chat, and then like the trust starts to build just like on a parental level, and then you're
No,
like,
yeah.
okay, like now I've relearned you as a person, and you've relearned me as a person, and we're still at the core the same people we were, but we're in different places.
Yeah.
But from that, you're able to be like, okay, well, all of that happened, and we're going to be around each other regardless
Oh,
because of
yeah.
her. So we can either choose to be like the stereotypical like
Fight,
fuck you, type of
end
parent.
end of the world. We
Yeah, or
blowing
even
up
worse,
the world together. Yeah.
or even worse, like the stereotypical like baby dad, baby mom dynamic, where like they can't leave each other alone and they sabotage the relationships. Like it's never been that.
No.
So like
and
it's a
that's-
conscious choice.
and I think that's why when you have something like this, especially like I don't want to say relationship because I don't want people to take it the wrong way, but the
No, but
friendship.
when you have you can.
But
That's
it is a
rooted in the
relationship.
trust around her. Yeah, like
So-
your friendships are like my friendship with Rosalie is a relationship. Your interpersonal
Yeah.
relationships with people
Well,
are
yeah.
relationships. How you conduct yourself in relation to other humans.
And I feel like like even like just with what we're trying to say to people and tell people is like, listen, like I think that because the core has now we mainly focused on like friendship and how to better ourselves, it it does maybe look a little weird to people, but it's like
yeah, definitely, 'cause
it's
it's
like
not
yo,
something you
listen,
see
like
often.
listen to me. I look at it like, yo, listen, you die tomorrow, she eating ramen noodles. Like I don't know.
I got news for you. She eats ramen noodles now,
You know
and
what I'm
I'm
saying?
alive
So
and
it's
well.
like, it's like I care for the best of my baby mom because she leads my daughter because
I'm her.
you are the mom, so you
Yeah.
leading her down this path that's like womanhood. You know what I'm saying? Granted, I'm her dad and I show her love and I take her places.
Yeah, and
do
but
that,
you provide a different kind of structure, like as her first like interaction with like what like how a man should conduct himself and how he acts and how he provides and the way he presents himself in tough situations. It's different like when you're dealing with your mom because it's like it's all like the female stuff, yes, but like how you're presenting yourself as a woman in the world. Your first
Right.
example of that is your mom.
right.
Like that's like that's
Yeah.
your core thing, and she's with me most of the time, so it's like it's a different dynamic. So you have to respect the other person as a parent and respect
Right.
the things that they bring to the child's life that you can't. There's I and that's like a thing that I see on Instagram all the time is like women wishing themselves a happy father. You're like, you're not the dad. You're
No,
not my dad.
yeah, like,
I probably have ADHD, but that's the thing. Like you have to respect that the other person. First of all, you chose to have this baby with this person,
no, of course.
so you
You
chose
did
that.
not. It just happened.
No, but
No,
I
that's
could have made a choice and been like, I don't want to have a kid at all,
Right,
period, with
100%.
you or anybody else, and that would have been that.
Yeah.
But we chose to have a baby, and I chose to have a child with you. So for me not to respect you as a dad, unless you were just egregiously not giving a fuck about her, which unfortunately is the case a lot with a lot of teen.
Well, no,
That
yeah.
unfortunately is the case. I was like, well, whoa.
No, with a lot of teen, and we said this to you before, the fact that dad is still around and we're in our 30s now is rare. Most of the time when you have a kid out of high school or in high school, the dad disappears and they're in and out and they're not around, they're not frequent, they're not regular.
Another state.
They're not
Going, like,
They got they're in multiple different homes, they're in this state, that state, here, there and everywhere. You see your dad regularly. So I could have I could have been chose to be bitter and difficult to deal with, where you would have been like, listen, I love you, Ava, but your mom's fucking insufferable and I can't. Like when you get older, fine, but you choose to be like, you know what? At some point, we've gone through like everything together, so like
Jeez.
we acknowledge and we know that we don't work as a like a well, not as like a family, but we don't work as a unit. So, but we've always been friends. So like, let's capitalize on that for her.
Right.
So
And I
that's
think
where we're at with that.
definitely think the way we've chosen to run the unit is a lot more efficient. Like, you know, so
It's like a united front essentially, where it's
yeah,
like something
we're
happens.
United Nations right now.
Literally,
Listen,
with the FBI and the CIA
listen,
running point.
we running things now.
But that's the thing. Like when there's an issue, if we didn't get along, I wouldn't be able to call you and be like, this, and this happened with Ava. I need your help or your support. Or we couldn't have a conversation and be like, how should we handle this? You'd be like, I'm handling it in my house. You deal with it in your house. And now for her, it's like, why are there two sets of rules? Versus
Right.
now where we can be like, these are the rules and that's it.
Right. Definitely think that, and I think also too, it's like you always have that set respect. So it's like, yeah, okay, like I get it. Whatever you're going, whatever you and your mom are going through, you have to also respect. That's your mom, and just like like you and you saying, yo, I'm meant to your dad. She's losing her mind. Like,
him? And I'm like, because he needs to know.
so it's
Those experiences and us making choices to parent her also give us experience.
yeah,
And it also I think a lot of the time it brings us down memory lane because we're like, we'll look at each other and we're like,
mm,
and we're like,
looking at you trying to get away with stuff.
we're like that's amateur bullshit.
Try me next Tuesday. Come back
We're
with
like-
that shit.
We're like, like I think you had called me too, like at some point while I was dealing with that, and I was like, I texted you and I was like, she's back on the bullshit.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, what? And I'm like, I'll explain it to you tomorrow, bro. I was like, literally, like, I like fucking went in my bed. I was like ready to go to sleep. And up pops this notification. And I'm like, bro, come the fuck on, man. I just want to go to sleep, bro.
And then it's like
I was
crazy
like, I
because
just want to go to bed. I'm tired. I want to go to sleep.
and it's so funny because like like literally it's like you go through the process like we we talk a lot more now, only because of like the editing, the clips, the this, the that. So it's like,
Yeah, I mean, and
Don't lie to the people. Your 4-hour conversations are not
well,
about the
it
podcast.
starts in the
no, it
podcast. It's
does.
about you a lot
I
of the
mean,
time.
honestly, I could show you my text message. It's all what are
It's
the numbers,
90
what are
I'm
the
talking
clips,
about when
what are
she's
the.
like, okay, we go inside, and then you're.
Oh no, but it's all planning
it starts.
though.
It's planning, and a lot of it, most of it is you. Like we're talking about, essentially talking shit about
You look like the cat that's like
Yeah,
in the corner, like just.
but
scrunched
essentially
up.
it starts like we're talking shit. I'm just like, bro, I fucking can't. But then like it then morphs into ideas for this. Like that conversation led to like I'm gonna bust out the yearbook and we're gonna like have a high school edition episode because we reminisce. Like all of the things we're talking about are from personal experience, and that's what makes like something like this authentic, where it's not like a newscast. We're not like, and today, like it's like authentic, funny like storytelling, and that's what makes it unique. And I was with Rosalie and Lewis this past weekend, and she was like, I think that the idea that you and Jerry have is, she's like, I'll be real with you. Everybody has a podcast with their friend, their homegirl. She's like, those type of podcasts, that structure is a dime a dozen. Everybody starts a podcast with their best friend and talks shit and goes through it. She's like, but there are family podcasts, there are parenting podcasts, but they're from a family unit. They're like posting as whatever. She's like, there are no podcasts run by two parents with the same child that aren't together, that are just friends chopping it up. Like there's none of that. So she's like, that is unique in and of itself. And I think like the more people watch and they like, they're like, okay, like
they understand, and
they'll get it,
I think once they catch the vibe and they understand what it really is.
Yeah, I think, but just like the numbers that we put up last week from last week's episode and the content we posted was like, holy shit. Like
we
that,
love y'all.
Yeah,
just to let
like
y'all
we
know, love y'all.
genuinely, we were just like, we'll give this a stab because like you were talking about your stream and I was like, yeah, I have all the podcast stuff, and we were like, let's just fucking give it a whirl.
Yeah.
We'll do like 10 episodes and see, but we've been consistent with it, with the stream.
yeah.
So we're like, why not? You're good at the video game editing, streaming stuff, and I've mastered this, so like, why not? Like, bizarre. But we are at almost the 1:15 mark now.
Sheesh.
So this was an extended episode in honor of Ava's first day of high school. So we have a high school freshman now.
Yeah.
Her orientation is this week, and so it's exciting. So we're gonna
Maybe next episode I'll make an appearance.
Well, you have to wash your fucking hair before you do that, bro.
On some Ava
We
controversy.
just gotta we gotta get you. We got you a new chair. You could use your new chair.
Oh yeah, you
we
got
got
your new chair. Look at you.
So maybe next time we'll craft some ideas with Ava, and then be sure to check out our stream on Tuesday because I'm going on vacation.
Yeah, we're switching up a little bit.
But we'll be back on our Thursdays the following week. Ava's first day of school, so maybe you could tell us a little about your first day of school on that Thursday stream.
No, I can't.
Yeah, we're gonna.
I've never heard.
No, we're fixing it. We're learning and working, but we do appreciate you guys genuinely, and thank you guys for tuning in. And we will catch you next episode.
Baby mama, she gon' do that, baby mama.
Work.
She gon' put it on you.